Report is a production of ZTV. Well, if I had a Goodies Headache Award to give out, it would go to Josef Newgarden. Red Bull stood atop the F1 podium, and Valtteri Bottas was pissed. And Doug Coby is using the SRX boost at Stafford to stay winning. Welcome to Speedway Report, Monday, June the 21st, 2021. From the shores of Lake Norman and Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina, I'm Patrick Reynolds from the Speedway Report Studios. We're here for the fastest half hour in racing. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Please do. It's a great way to never miss an episode of Speedway Report, especially since now we're experimenting with time, date, format, and all that. If you subscribe to YouTube, you'll never miss a show. No problem at all. Just do that, and you don't got to worry about when we come on because, well, we're a podcast, so we're probably going to play around a little bit. I know we are. Let's jump in with the Victory Lane Lap. No, I haven't given this segment the boot yet, but we'll go week to week and see what the format brings. Nashville, Music City, USA. The Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the trucks all ran the 1.3 miles super speedway. Kyle Larson won Sunday's Cup race. The Saturday Xfinity race was taken by Kyle Busch. And to prevent a Kyle sweep, Ryan Preece led off the weekend with the run of the truck win on Friday night. NASCAR's Whelen Modified 2 rolled into Riverhead, New York, and Doug Coby got the checkered flag there, which tied him for Jeff Fuller for fifth on the all-time Mod Tour win list. IndyCar raced Road America yesterday with a dandy race. Alex Palou wound up in victory lane. And Formula One was in France Sunday morning. Max Verstappen parked it atop the podium. Lucas Oil Late Models raced in Columbus, Mississippi. They had a three-night show cut short because of Tropical Storm Claudette. They moved Saturday's finale to Friday night. Didn't matter to Jonathan Davenport as he won the preliminary race on Thursday, and then the big clash at the mag on Friday night. World of Outlaws raced Thursday night in State Line Raceway in New York. Dave Hess was your winner, but they fell victims to rain too. Friday and Saturday events in Pennsylvania were rained out. The World of Outlaws sprints were otherwise located in West Burlington, Iowa on Thursday night, where Brad Sweet took the A-Main. In Dubuque, Danny Schatz, my goodness, finally, Schatz gets his 300th career A-Main win. Good for Donnie. He's been sitting on 299 for a while. All those years he had all that success, but man, he could not get to 300. Finally did it on Friday night. And in Saturday in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, Sheldon Haudenschild was your winner. Silver Crown cars for USAC raced Friday night at Williams Grove, where Shane Cockrum was your winner. And the USAC Sprints took part in the Eastern Storm last week up in the northeast part of the U.S. Tuesday night, they were at Grandview Speedway in Bechtelsville. Justin Grant was your winner. On Wednesday night at Bridgeport, New Jersey, Robert Ballou took the checkered flag. Thursday night at Selinsgrove, Justin Grant won. Friday night in a special event, while the dirt cars for Silver Crown were running at Williams Grove, Bobby Santos won a pavement race at Lucas Oil Raceway, Indianapolis. Saturday night at Port Royal Speedway, the sprint cars were rained out. And then last night at Bloomsburg Fair Raceway, Kevin Thomas Jr. was your USAC sprint car winner. More tough turns for the weather at Grandview, Pennsylvania. Their program was rained out on Saturday night. The Bowman Gray Stadium here in Winston-Salem hosted a 100-lap modified race won by Jason Myers. And Tony Stewart won this week's SRX stop in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was out on Saturday night, but I'm becoming a fan of this series. The format, the idea. I think I'm a fan of the format. I guess the idea is what I'm really trying to say on this thing. They'll tweak it and modify it as they go along, but I like the idea. I like them presenting a little bit more raw racing like they are. A lot of potential here for this series and keeping an eye on it as so many people are. Now, if you raise your hand if you watch the IndyCar race. Okay, keep your hand raised if you still got a tissue wiping the tears away from the heartbreak of Josef Newgarden at the end of this thing. Alex Palou won the race. Newgarden started on the pole, led almost the entire race, and with 2 laps to go, they had a green-white checker on this thing. Newgarden's car barely accelerated. It just putzed around the track. He fell all the way to the back of the field, dominated all day long. Absolute heartbreaking for Newgarden. This makes 6 races in a row in the IndyCar season where the leader of the person that led the most laps in the race did not win. Been some absolutely gut-wrenching stories and some great racing happening in the IndyCar series. I've said it for years that this series really has very, very good racing. We gotta get that NASCAR crowd off the circle track stuff and get them to tune in because the stuff is phenomenal. What was disappointing was NBCSN's coverage of the event late in the going. The race itself, very good coverage of it. I like it, but they left so early. They barely got a few words of Palou and Victory Lane. Then they left coverage. They left air for the NASCAR pre-race show, which was a 45-minute pre-race show in Nashville, Tennessee. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Brad Paisley hosted it, so it was a big deal as they brought the country music stars out of Nashville City. That's to Lebanon for the Super Speedway for this race. So I understand how big it was. However, just a 45-minute pre-race show, and we left the air of the IndyCar race without hearing from Josef Newgarden. That was poor. They left the race. They went to NBCSN, left the IndyCar race, and went to NASCAR on time as far as programming goes. But with a 45-minute pre-race show, you certainly have room to wiggle there. I just have a hard time believing that NASCAR has that big of a gorilla hold on broadcasting, where IndyCar is the show and where it is at. And you had a good story. I mean, you still, as a television network, you have to tell the story. You talked to Palou and Victory Lane, but what else? We left the air really quick and got to Nashville. As journalists, you should have told the story, and you should have gone late to Nashville and, at the very minimum, gotten some words and spoke to Josef Newgarden. Great race coverage. Poor race coverage ending post-race going to NASCAR, merely for the pre-race show. I would have had a little bit more of an argument, would have been okay with this if a race was underway. The green flag had flown at Nashville for NASCAR. We quickly left IndyCar, covered the start of NASCAR, then maybe in the first caution, first round of pit stop, gone back to Nashville for some post-race on the IndyCar race. I could see that, but we had a 45-minute pre-race show for the NASCAR event. Come on, guys. Seriously. NBCSN. Yeah, should have stuck and buttoned up, put the bow on the IndyCar race where they talk to Newgarden. Before we go any further, I didn't mention my t-shirt here. It's of Jade Avedizian, young sprint car racer out of California. See, there we are. She's a little teenage girl, petite girl, but with a real heavy right foot. If you don't follow her on social media, check her out. Avid Racing is their page on Facebook, and just Google Jade Avedizian. You'll find her. Some stories. Pretty interesting driver. Could have a bright future in racing. We'll see where she goes. Just a teenager, but met the family last year, summer of 2020. Good group of people, good family, very friendly, great racing family. Love to talk to them. Moving on, in France, the Mercedes one-stop strategy in the French GP yesterday fell victim to the Red Bull's two-stop strategy, and leading Mercedes over Red Bull early in the race. Mercedes pitted, and then Red Bull pitted a lap later. However, another 15 laps later, Red Bull came in for fresh tires. Max Verstappen had about a 15-second deficit to Lewis Hamilton, ran him down, and took over the lead with 2 laps to go in the French GP. Where was the Mercedes feeling on this? Well, Hamilton felt he just didn't have enough tire at the end of the race and couldn't hold on to beat Verstappen. Yeah, that was Red Bull's idea, but Bottas called very early in the race it was going to be a 2-stop race. Mercedes ignored him, didn't tell him to shut up, but basically just ignored him and left him out there, which he did not make a podium over Mercedes and 2 Red Bull cars. Know your plays, boy. Mercedes guys got it. No, they didn't have it yesterday. Swing and a miss for the Silver Arrows, and good call by the Red Bull folks and Christian Horner. Now, let's get to NASCAR's return to Nashville. That have been talk of returning to the fairgrounds for NASCAR's touring series many times over the years. It picked up heat in the last couple of years. COVID-19 in 2020 certainly shuffled the schedule and allowed NASCAR to really not have a choice but to make some changes and take some risks and take some new steps. So they did, and they brought the Cup Series to the Nashville Superspeedway, not the Nashville Fairgrounds. Nobody really asked for that. We wanted it to go back to the fairgrounds. Now, it went back to the Superspeedway just as almost like a litmus test to see how Nashville would react. They reacted well. The citizens did. However, the organization and logistics for the Speedway did not. Yes, the track had a full crowd, full grandstands, sold out, but 40,000 seats. It's not like it's 140,000. Everybody maintained realistic expectations here. But it played out a lot like the inaugural Kentucky Cup race did about 10 years ago. Total mess as far as getting people into the track. There was no coolers allowed in the track. The theory is that the coolers, no searching of the coolers, would allow for quicker gate entry and speed up the process. However, they didn't figure out of parking, and that they actually, can you get this, have the gall, they actually charged for parking, which is very much not the way to go at the NASCAR Cup Series. Many people pay to park on private property, yards, places that are privately owned near the racetrack. Racetrack property is very often free. Parking, no charge. Even the U.S. National Whitewater Center down here near Charlotte, North Carolina has a parking fee, but there's a kid out there with a cell phone and a tablet can slide your what? Your what? It's right, your debit card, which is the way so many things are run. But Nashville somehow, for some reason, made a policy, cash only for parking. This screwed up a whole lot of people. Now, on the Nashville Superspeedway website, it does say when the parking lot's open, it does say cash only. Not everybody got the memo on this. I think you're just going down a slippery slope. What else did we have? We had clear backpacks and ice were okay for your drinks, but coolers were not. This is a hot day. No coolers. No coolers can be brought in. No alcohol can be brought in. And the prices at the concession stands were pretty high. And reportedly, they ran out of water and food early on in the race. It was a hot day in Nashville, but you were not allowed coolers in. If you're going to prevent people from bringing coolers in, that you need to have an abundance of food and drinks for everybody, and you can't gouge them at a bad price. Now, saying this, full disclosure, I was not on hand at Nashville. I did not go to the race, but I followed it online a lot. A lot of the Twitter and social media commentary kept me in the loop, as well as, I was just watching on TV and getting a flavor for what was going on out there. And it reminded me of the Kentucky fiasco. The green flag was delayed a few minutes just to try to get more people into the racetrack and get them in their seats. So later on, as the parking fiasco continued and cash was only being taken, they decided to not charge anymore for parking just to speed up the parking lot process. So some people paid to park and others did not park. I don't know. So if you're a race fan and you paid to park, you have a legitimate gripe with the Nashville Superspeedway that you paid to park and others did not. It was a long, long race, but it started late for the TV windows. Aha, we've covered this topic here again. But I'm a fan of longer races. I did not mind the 500 miles at Dover. I think 400 miles there, it's fine, but I didn't mind the 500 miles. I don't want races shortened. I never did. I didn't ask for more road courses. I said more short tracks, not more road courses. Everything they did ahead of time to make for the Nashville mess, you look at it and say, duh. Even on the fans' part and somewhat on the Speedway's part, you're telling people that you're going to charge for parking and cash only. I'm sure a lot of people missed that. I don't know if I would check that out if I went to a racetrack or not and bought tickets of it, because it's just so unusual to charge for parking. You just don't hear it. And then cash only in today's day and age. I guess. I don't know. It strikes me as that. And then no coolers, no alcohol. You just kind of defiling what going to a race is. One of the genuine great things about it is you could bring in your own cooler. You could bring in your own beer. And they allowed it, and it was good, and we all had a good time. And it's just been that way traditionally. And now we have a Nashville race, and you went against the grain for everything that NASCAR has traditionally been known for. But NASCAR has done nothing but break tradition for the past 25 years. Anyway, so it was kind of a mess, and I don't think anybody has any excuse. Nashville has been dormant for 10 years. You had 10 years to figure this out. You haven't had a cup race there in over 30 years. So you had that long to figure it out. That was at the fairgrounds, and somehow that went okay back in 1984 when we last raced there. Incidentally, when we last raced at Cup last raced at Nashville at the fairgrounds in 1984, none of us knew that that was the last race at the time. When we put together the schedule for 1985, those two races at Nashville were left off in 85. I don't remember the reasons why. As most cases, probably money. Just follow the money. But Jeff Bodine won that race in 1984. I remember it. I remember watching the highlights of it anyway. It wasn't on TV back in those days. But here we are back at Nashville again. I hope they wind up, this Cup weekend winds up back at the fairgrounds under the lights. I think that would be a fantastic way to go. And have their local divisions as part of the weekend. Maybe we used to have the Cup Series in the late models or Grand American cars that ran there on Friday night would run a 100-lap feature with pole qualifying on Friday night, and made for a nice weekend when you brought in second-round qualifying Saturday afternoon and then the race on Saturday evening. Moving on from Nashville, I wonder if they will learn their lesson in 2022. Where this will go, I'm hoping for the fairgrounds. Still, I don't know if that'll happen or if we're going to stick with the super speedway. Nashville, so much potential. I'd love to see it come back, and I'd love to see it at the fairgrounds. Other NASCAR news, spotter Eddie DeHunt was reinstated on Friday. He got his membership privileges back. Those of you following the story, DeHunt was suspended, and I'm going to read a lot of this right here because it involves a police matter. So I'm not here to offer commentary on this. DeHunt was suspended by the sanctioning body NASCAR on May 26th after his arrest in Catawba County, North Carolina, came to light in a reinstatement notice. NASCAR competition officials stated that DeHunt's, quote, indefinite suspension had been lifted. He has been approved to return to all NASCAR racing activities effective June 18th, 2021. In other words, for this past weekend, DeHunt had been the spotter for the Hendrick Motorsports number 9, driven by Chase Elliott. He was the champ last year. Everyone at Hendrick Motorsports was pleased. DeHunt was pleased. As far as the charges that were levied against him, basically there was not enough evidence to proceed. This is a criminal and legal matter. I don't have any commentary to offer on this. This is something that NASCAR is wise enough to step back, let the legal process work itself out, and then support law enforcement as best we could. There's a whole lot of know-it-alls and psychics on social media that thousands of people seem to have been there when the event in question happened and know exactly what Eddie DeHunt did or did not do because we talk about them here all the time, keyboard warriors, the guys with the internet muscles. Basically, DeHunt was charged with something. He was suspended because he did not notify his employer, Hendrick, and NASCAR within 72 hours of being charged. That rule he broke. So DeHunt was punished for that. The actual criminal charges, there was not enough evidence to proceed. Ergo, the matter was dropped. So be it. That was the legal, we'll follow the legal matter on this. But all of you that was judge, jury, and executioner on the internet for Eddie DeHunt, shame on you. Nothing worse than keyboard muscles on the internet. Stepping away from that, I'm going to award our Racer of the Week. Easy, low-hanging fruit would have been Kyle Larson, as he took his 4th win in the Cup Series in a row, 3 points events plus the All-Star race. I think the way Kyle Larson is driving and over the past year of his life is some of the best race car driving I've ever seen. However, a lot of times I look at a whole body of work and decades of chasing little dirt bull rings around the World of Outlaw circuit. Donnie Schatz got his 300th career A-main win. And in spite of everything Kyle Larson's given us, I'm going to give our Speedway Report Racer of the Week award to Donnie Schatz. Well, everybody, in between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of racing with SpeedwayReport.com. If you miss our live show, this is always uploaded on the website. So we're going more to a podcast on demand format because I'm not sure exactly when we're going to go live anymore. I'm going to try to do a weekend wrap up either Sunday nights or sometime Monday. We're not going to be dead set solid at that 7:30 Eastern time anymore. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to be able to happen. So enjoy the podcast and the downloads. Now, where can you find us? All over the place. You can find these at SpeedwayReport.com. We've got the Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds Facebook page. We've got the Racers Reunion Facebook page. On Twitter, you can find a copy on Speedway Report and at Speedway Pat, either account. And you can also find us, as I said at the top of the show, our YouTube channel, Speedway Report. So just search for us in any one of those, and these podcasts are right there on demand. I appreciate everybody that are watching us on Facebook Live. That's a platform we will continue to use. We're going to upload this and just lean heavily on the podcast on demand format. I want to thank all of the military, past and present, for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. I'm Patrick Reynolds. This has been Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA. As said, on Twitter at Speedway Pat, Facebook page Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, YouTube, and a bunch of other places. Just Google us. You will find us. I want to remind everybody, Monday nights at 8 Eastern Time, Bill Pratt and John Bockelman host a drag racing list on their page every single week. We'll be back here on live on Facebook next week, and check us out on all of those platforms that I mentioned to you before. Our website, our social media, and YouTube. You take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll talk to you soon.